Good morning, Unity Village Chapel. Welcome to this sacred sanctuary, both in-house and online. It is a delight to gather together today for the practice, to gather together in consciousness and in honor of love. So let's take a deep breath and pray in this morning together as we awaken our hearts and our minds to the one power, one presence, the love itself, the love that flows in and through and as each one of us as this moment. Let our eyes be aware of the present moment and the presence. Let our hearts be open and expansive. Let our minds be willing. Right here, right now, I invite you to drop anything that no longer serves. Just let it go. Whatever you came in with this morning, whatever is on your heart that you may have been thinking, I came because I need to work this through, just lift it up into this space. Set an intention, connect with the heart. This is your divine appointment. You are in the right place at the right time. And so it is. Amen. So it is a delightful day here at Unity Village Chapel. We welcome our special guest in the house, and we're so grateful for our music this morning. It's going to be a fabulous morning, so just get ready. If you're here for the first time, we are kicking off our fall series in September, so think about signing up for a small group. We are studying What's in the Way is the Way by Mary O'Malley. And so you can sign up for a small group, you can get your own group together, or you can join us online and for the deep dive after the services and just step in when it works for you. But think about picking up the book and getting ready to do a deep dive of an adventure in spirituality. So you are here for the Summer of Soul series, and we are just delighted that you're in the sanctuary and checking out the grounds, for those of you that are here on grounds, checking out the beautiful grounds of the Summer of the Village. If you have not yet checked it out, you can go to the welcome table to pick up a welcome packet, or you can go online to find a welcome packet there. I am Reverend Erin, and I bless you in this moment. You are ready to experience your divine appointment. So breathe in with me together as we know our unity statement of truth. There is one power and one presence, God the good omnipotence. We see God as love, wisdom, and divine mind. We honor all spiritual practices and the diversity of paths that lead to enlightenment and awakening. We believe that we're born blessed, and through meditation, affirmation, and prayer, we remember this truth. It is through the law of mind action that we create harmony and unity in our lives and in our world. And so it is.
Am I mic on? Yeah. Good morning, Unity Village Chapel. I am Reverend Sandra Mathis. I'm the guest speaker for today. Oh, I recognize Linda and Stan. So many faces. So good to see all of you. I don't have my glasses on, so if I don't see you, just in case Mark wanted to tell me something, I had them up here. I'm too lazy to put my contacts on. So I'm so happy to be here, deliver the message. So good to see Reverend Erin. I did my second internship here, and so I feel like I'm at home. But now I'm going to turn the floor over to Asha and the children.
Right, we welcome up the youth of Unity Village Chapel. Come on down. Do. Here they come. And you know what? I don't think we have our flag. The flag got left. I missed that. Laurel's going to go rescue us. Yeah. Hi, Araya. Good morning. We have some new faces today. Yeah, so exciting to see everyone. These are all the people that made it up on a Sunday morning in the summer. I mean, that's something, right? That's something. How many of you are ready for summer to be over? Anyone? Amber, done with summer.
Hey, that's a good one.
Are you done with, what are you done with in the summer?
Staying home, and I want to get ready for school.
Ooh. So, you know, we all have our different lenses. Some are like ready to be opening to something new. Anyone want to open to something new? Raise your hand. Something new? Takes some bravery to go step into something new. We're going to talk a little bit about that in Spirit School today. So I have the flag, which we didn't. Does anyone want to be the leader? Yes. Would you like to do it? No? Amber is willing if no one else wants to. Well, you grab it, and if someone else suddenly becomes inspired. Yes. Hi, Abraham. Here's the two excited boys right here. It's their first time. Yeah, and Jamie's first time. So you guys look pretty excited. You excited to be here? Yeah, we're excited to have you. Yes, yes, yes. So congregation, this is a little bit like a reader's theater kind of thing. So congregation, you're going to start with that top line, and then we are going to respond. So congregation together.
You are born blessed.
And we're going to say, we are born blessed. Are you ready? We are born blessed. Yes, you did that. Oh, so good. And now congregation together.
You are here to be a blessing.
Now we're going to say, we are here to be a blessing. That's lovely. Wonderful. And now the blessing, we're going to just receive a blessing. So we're here to be a blessing, and we can be here to receive a blessing. So you're going to open your hands like this, we'll be receiving. And congregation, you're going to rub your hands together, generate and know that energy of love is in and as you all the time. And we send it out to the children and we say, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. What about that? Pretty good. Amber, lead the way.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Don't you know
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
every single day?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
All right, I want you to say these words with me first, okay? Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Now I'm going to teach you a little something, all right? I want you to sing this. What's the note? There we go. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Got it? Here we go. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Very good. So you're going to hear that a lot in this song, so just be ready, okay? Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. On a lazy Saturday, partly sunny, partly gray, think about the things I've done and just how far I've come. Used to worry, used to trip about money and relationships, but now I put it all aside, 'cause I'm safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. 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 I confidently express the truth of my heart's desire. Yeah, making each one of my dreams come true. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, secure, peaceful, satisfied. secure, peaceful, satisfied. Safe, 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 secure, peaceful, satisfied. Good job. Give it up for the band, you guys.
Good morning, Unity Village Chapel. That was really great. Thank you, guys. I love a song that's like an affirmation and a song and a sing-along, and I also love that organ, that electric organ sound. Just something special about it. So thank you, guys. You guys are invited to download the Unity Village Chapel app from the App Store and search for Unity Village Chapel and open the app, tap the OOS at the bottom. You can follow today's order of service there. You can also view announcements and stay connected. You can also share prayer requests through the app on the prayer wall where our ministers, prayer chaplains, and community hold sacred space with you. This is a good time to take a moment to mute your cell phones and any other noisemakers and take a moment and experience the daily word as a reflection for our shared practice with me today. Sunday, August 9th, joy. Joy lives in my heart and blesses my life. Joy lives in me as an aspect of my divine inheritance. I feel it as the love in my heart and the peace in my soul that colors my every experience. Even as the rhythms of life shift, joy is my constant companion. When living feels light, joy is in the harmony in my relationships, the laughter in my celebrations, and the satisfaction in my soul. When living feels heavy, joy is still present as my peaceful bearing and faith-filled presence. My joy blesses me daily, but it is not for me alone. I share it generously. I rejoice in being a source of light in times of peace and a shelter in times of trouble. I am blessed to live a joyful life. I affirm, God's joy is my joy today and every day. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Job 8:21.
Just when you think you've had enough and you're giving up, you try again and the key turns the chamber to move. And then suddenly in your mind comes the thought, doesn't it seem like that's what life's all about? Start, you will understand you are more than a part of the world. Oh yes, you are. Sometimes the things that seem so small and trivial is just the thing called till a still small voice inside me revealed all there is to learn from those lessons in truth. Like you're in the world, but there's much more for you. It's hard to believe, but I do agree. The lesson for me is I am more than a part of the world. Yes, I've gotta be in my mind. I'm a dancer in heaven's ballet. I'm a woman who loves all the way, and my soul is the giver of all that is good in my life. And my life is a love that is true. One day I wrote a letter to someone I wouldn't send it to. You know what I mean? Days passed and I read it again to see had anything changed from the day it was written. Well, the only thing I had seen change was me. And it's times like these when I know I have found the world is just fine, but I'm heaven bound. No matter what life has to offer, I trust what is meant for me is much more than a part of the world. I am more than a part of the world. You are more than a part of the world. Life is more than a part of the world. I am more than a part of the world.
I'm going to invite you to just settle in your seats, knowing that that seat was meant to always support you. You can close your outer hours to tune out any outer distractions. And let's begin the practice of going within so that we never go without. Focusing on your breath, just inhale and exhale, not judging the breath, but letting it just be. I'm going to invite you to give yourself permission that whatever may have been burdening your mind, your heart, your spirit, before you came into this space, give yourself permission to allow that to stay outside of this place that we call Unity Village Chapel. Give yourself permission for the next 60 minutes or so to not allow that to be a part of your thinking, your being. And perhaps at the end of this time together, you'll be ready to release it. It's that something that's no longer identifies who you are. It doesn't define you anymore. And if you're not ready for that, then to look at it different and let it not walk before you. Maybe you're not ready to walk beside it, but you don't walk behind it. So just take one deep cleansing breath, release it. And today, our message is going to be about from the human to the divine. And we know it. We always know it. We have to remember to practice. I'm going to ask that we just go into the silence for just a moment. Let us return with the breath and exhale. Let's do that once more. Inhale and exhale. We want to be in a place of openness, and so we take this time to reconnect with our center, our being, the gift, the giver, the supply, the supplier, the omnipotence of God, the omniscience of God. To reconnect ourselves to the divine, because we are divine. Knowing that when we're listening and hearing and seeing, as Jesus said, these things you shall do also. But we must be open for that to happen. All right. I invite you to come back to this space. Open your eyes. And we give thanks for this moment. All right. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to set my timer because I was raised Baptist. I'm glad you all get that. Okay. Let's see, let me get set up here. All right, I am ready. All right, I'm going to do just a little background because I do have a lot of material I want to cover today. My name is Reverend Sandra Mathis. I actually pastored a church for over 20 years in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So my perspective is going to be a little different because I sat with people for decades wanting to make that connection, trying to make that quantum leap. And so I had to spend my time, it wasn't enough just to quote scripture and everything, trying to find ways to help people make that connection so they could have the life they wanted. Most people had come from, like I said, I was Baptist, recovering Baptist, and I say that as a joke. They didn't, I know some people felt harmed, but I felt like I'm real big on take everything that was given to you and make it work. There's a song some of you may be familiar with, but they said, take what your mama gave you. Take everything you got and make it work for you. And so I'm real big on that. Like, I don't have to abandon anything. All I need to do is incorporate what I have, and I can release some things, and I can bring some things in stronger. And so that's what we're going to focus in on today. We're going to do, I think, an announcement later, but I will be teaching a yoga movement reflection class tomorrow at 6. If you can make that, please. And I also want to send out my deepest sympathies to Linda Ray Chappell. She was always so supportive of me when I was going through my internship. She would text me, email me, and so I want to support her as well at this time. So Mark and I agreed there should be nothing competing with her ceremony for her beloved today. So please be a part of that, and then come out and join me tomorrow if you can. If not, Mark and I'll plan another time. I'll be back in October. But I pastored a church for over 20 years, so I didn't even go to ministerial school. I graduated from Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute. Matter of fact, I stood on this stage and gave the graduation talk in 2022, so it's good to be back. But and then in 2023, I graduated from Holmes Institute. So we'll talk a little bit about quantum physics today, because I'm real big on that. And once again, I've incorporated my Baptist teachings with the Unity teachings, with whatever you give me. I'm gonna find a way to boil it all in the pot and give you a piece of cornbread, and we're gonna have a stew. It's gonna be good. It really is. And so I did that, and when I graduated, I was president of the Unity Ministerial Students. So under my leadership, that was the first time the Urban School and Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute had come together. And we did a really good job. But the concern was once I stepped away, they was going to start fighting again. So they said, you need to stay attached. So I serve as the Unity liaison for all the Unity Ministerial students as well, Urban School and and Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, and we don't fight because we're not going to do that. And so, so we have a wonderful time. We've come together, we're learning together, and we're making changes from the inside. All right, so what I want to start with today is the idea of Ralph Waldo Emerson. I studied him quite a bit in Holmes. He's wonderful. Did you know he likes to be called Waldo? Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, and he actually did a lot of writings. He worked a lot with, what's the other guy's name? I can't think of it now. But anyway, who said it? Oh, that's right. Thank you so much, Linda. Yeah, it was Thoreau. He worked a lot with, what was his whole name? I can't remember names now. Henry David, yeah, all these three names. I'm not used to all these three names. Henry David Thoreau. Anyway, he wrote an essay in 1841 called Circles. And that's one of my favorite essays. And in the essay, I want to make sure I get it right. He starts off with the I is the first circle, and then what it creates on the horizon is the second circle. So that goes back to our unity teachings. What do we say? Thoughts held in mind produce after their own kind. So whatever we're holding, we just keep producing over and over and over again. He says that among the earliest seekers of the divine, the perfect circles originally were the sun and the moon. But then that translated into what are you seeing? And then what are you seeing on the horizon? So what's reflected in the eye forever becomes ingrained in the psyche as humanity's connection to the cosmos. So we're going to start with circles, and I'm going to draw some parallels because, like I said, in my 20 years of ministry, I found people could grasp ideas, but they weren't able to make them connect. And as long as you can't make things connect, it's very hard to create healing and empowerment for your life. So circles represent continuity, they represent cycles, they represent infinity, they can represent unbrokenness. So that's what they can represent. Now, St. Augustine said, and sometimes I get this wrong, I get it wrong. And St. Augustine described the nature of God as a circle whose center was everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. The center of the circle is everywhere. The circumference is nowhere. Let's talk a little bit about St. Augustine. He was out of Hippo. He was very influential out of the Old Testament. And today, St. Augustine, Florida, was actually named after him. That's how influential he is. Hippo is now Algiers in North Africa. So he came out of North Africa. These are all the things, my nerdy self, I just like to go find out all this stuff. Because to me, it helps it connect. I grew up Baptist, so all I knew was that King James Version. And now that I've been able to create more understanding, everything makes more sense to me. So let's talk about the circumference. The circumference is the perimeter. That's the everything of the circle. So basically what St. Augustine is saying is God is everything. Now, if you study in religion, pantheism is God is all, but panentheism is God is all and more than what God created. So what St. Augustine pointed to was the idea of a God that created everything, but then greater than everything I don't like using pronouns, he or she created. So let's talk about that. So the circumference is the circle of everything. And then we have the diameter. Now, I know some of y'all, this is not, this necklace didn't want to be a part of it. So the diameter is from the circumference to the circumference. We're not going to do enough to make that 8th grade twitch come back from Algebra 1. Just enough to paint the story. Just take a breath. It's going to be okay. All right. So the diameter is nowhere. The radius is from the center of the circle back to the diameter. So that's nowhere. All of it's nowhere. So then let's get into the ideas that we like to get into. What's a tangent? Not you got to answer. A tangent is a line that touches 2 points on the circumference, and then it goes off on its own. So hence when we would say he or she went off on a tangent, right? So they don't come into the line doesn't come into the circle where the power is. We know God is everywhere, but we take just a little. These are the people that come to 1 or 2 classes and then wonder why they can't manifest and why they're still angry or why they don't sleep at night. You didn't come in. Yeah, you touched enough to say, I know they taught this class at night. Yeah, but you weren't really there, all right? And so then you got a chord. A chord does come into the circle, but it doesn't come into the center. So once again, we got somebody, I was there, but you didn't come into the full power. A secant. A secant one, it goes through the circle as well. It will go into the circumference. So a little bit more power there. We're going to bring in algebra. Like I said, I'm always trying to tie things together. And so then you got the arc. The arc stays in the circumference, which is still power. All these places still speak to power. But the idea of living that full life that you want, creating those circles that, what's his name? We weren't talking about today. Waldo Emerson, the way he was talking about Ralph Waldo Emerson, creating those circles. So we got that part. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is, so we know God is represented in the circle, unbroken. I said unbroken was the term I used to describe the circle. Unbroken is an adjective that speaks to no undividedness. There are no missing parts. But wholeness speaks to, it's a state of being. There's nothing missing. Everything's there. Now, I'm going to see where I'm going with that. When you get a foreclosure notice, summons to appear, a foreclosure, reduction in force, all these things you get that can send you into a broken state. When we are grounded in what we know we are to have, these are just conditions. This too shall pass. As I don't even know if that's biblical right now. Oh, the Baptist people would draw my card away from me. All right, and so we want to stay in the whole place, the whole state. Something can look whole, but it's not because of what it believes. Emerson talks about how a man can have an appearance. He can be sturdy. He can appear to be sturdy. But if his soul is not quick and fast and can push past all those boundaries, he's broken. And when he's broken, then these things can take him down. We all know, Charles Fillmore said all the time, these are underlying things. These are substances. There's an underlying substance that's ready to spring forth and create whatever it is that you need, everything you want, always bringing it from the invisible into the, that's right, that's what we're about, these teachings, invisible into the visible. So what do we need to do? So when somebody comes to you in this broken state and they're telling you things, oh, you know, you can't do, people love to tell you what you can't do when you're going through stuff. You know, you can't do this and you can't do that and you better not think about this and you better not go over there. They love to tell, they love it, and you just sit there and you're not feeling the best, so you know, you don't get rid of them the way you should or as quickly as you should, but you're human. And so I want you, one of the things I learned in my time as pastoring, I want you to give yourself some grace, because you're still going to get mad. They're going to say things to you, and you're going to want to take that pronoun with that verb and put it together, and it's not thank you. If you didn't get it today, you'll get it tomorrow, you know. And so give yourself some grace. You might need to sit down for a minute. I think sometimes in unity we're so busy trying to be okay, we don't admit when we're not doing good. And it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to go talk to somebody about not being okay. And taking that time you need for yourself. Emerson says, but the soul is quick and strong. It bursts over the boundary on all sides, expands another orbit on the deep, which also runs up into a high wave, and attempt again to build, to stop, and to bind. But the heart refuses to be imprisoned. Its first and narrowest pulses, it always tends outward with a vast force and to immense and innumerable expansions. Emerson was big on every limitation is a horizon for something new and something bigger. Now I'm about to draw a parallel that it might send some of you like, what? Where is she going with this? All right, so when Africans were enslaved and brought over, around the third generation, they forgot what they knew. They studied something called Ifa and Bandung. Those things went away, and this Christian tradition was presented to them. And they had to learn it the way the master taught it to them. And they incorporated that. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to always be incorporating things. Whatever you've been given, there's something in that for you too. So what the slaves used to do, because they couldn't congregate, in the late in the night, they would go deep in the woods. Something was called hushed arbors. Or brush arbors. It was two ways to say it. And they would have service. They would have the service, and they would do what they remembered from Africa, and they would also incorporate what they had learned here in America, because that was all they knew to do. And they would go deep in the woods, and they weren't caught, and they could have the liberation and the edification they needed for themselves. That was the foundation for the black church. There was also something called a ring shout, where they would counterclockwise. They would keep their feet on the ground, and there would be a call and response. Somebody would do the call and response, and they would do that. And all that is indicative of what we know about the black church, that motivation, that enthusiasm, that passion. All that created something new that came from a limitation. You can only do this. But they expanded and they stayed open based on what Emerson talked about, and other people have talked about. I'm just using Emerson today. And they created the black church. Now I'm going to go further. So then the black church had its role through the civil rights movement and keeping Jim Crow. It kept people safe. It kept people a place to go, a safe place to go. So once again, a limitation became something expansive that people are still writing about today. Now I'm going to take a real turn. Now you're going to be like, oh my God, where did she go there? All right, so the church is doing what it's supposed to do. There's a German Lutheran a theologian named Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He's in Germany, and he gets an opportunity to come to the U.S. and study at Union Theological Seminary in 1931. 1930 to 1931, he spent 1 year. He was born in 1906 in Poland. In his year in New York, he noticed the black church and started going to the black church, and he taught Sunday school in Harlem. He went to Abyssinia Baptist Church, and what he studied was that how these people who were considered minorities and underserved took something that was given to them in a limited state and expanded it into something beautiful and wonderful. And he hung out. He took the teachings that he learned from the black church and took them back to Germany and became a part of the Nazi resistance. And so he was captured in 1943, held for 2 years, and he was killed in a gas chamber in 1945. But you see how one limitation kept feeding, it kept growing, it kept saying, we're not going to be defined by this. And then we went all the way from Africa to Dietrich Bonhoeffer in the Holocaust. I was like, it never ends. But we have to be willing to be conduits. We have to be willing to be conduits for that expansion. So we talked about Dietrich, and now I'm going to tell you, okay, I'm going to go to the pre-Socratic Greek philosophers. I love Heraclitus. These were people they're mostly around Ephesus in the year 5 BC. Ephesus, and I love that because I love Apostle Paul. And if you go back and look at Apostle Paul's writing, he was in Ephesus in the book of Corinthians around the year 53, 54. And you can see a lot of influence. But Heraclitus ruled Ephesus in 5 BC. And there was always a fire in the flood somewhere. You got used to that. But they preserved some of his writings. And the two writings I want to focus on, the fragments that they found. Strive to not be like the children of your parents. Exactly. First I read, I was like, I'm offended. Who is he talking to? Yeah, strive to try not to be like the children of your parents, meaning you should always be expanding. That limitation, I don't care how good and how much they loved you, there was a limitation based on what they understood. You should be expanding on that, taking it to the next level. I always tell the story of a woman who was making her hen, and she cut the back of the hen off and put it in the pan, and someone asked her, why did you cut the back of that hen off? And she said, well, that's how Mother used to make it. And they said, your mother's pan was shorter than yours, right? So she was cutting a hen for a bigger space, but that's what we do when we don't process things. We don't like, is this working now? Why do I do what I do? Am I really honoring those who've gone before me? Because they didn't mean for me to be stuck. They meant for there to be progress. That's less hen the family had to eat because of that. So the first one, strive not to be like the children of your parents. The next one is obey the universe. He talks a lot about the logos. He said the logos is universal. Obey the universe, the universal logos. Although the logos is universal, most people act like they have a private understanding. And I'm not saying you do whatever you want to do, because sometimes that's the force speaking. I'm going to go forth and do this. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to be happy. I don't care what they say. I'm going to be happy, because that too is a choice. But understand there are rules. There are ways to get things done. I see Mark getting up. He must be trying to tell me to shut up. Okay, not yet. All right. So, okay. A hidden connection is a hidden connection is stronger than an apparent one. A hidden connection is stronger than the apparent one. And so the line that I drew from African slaves to Dietrich Bonhoeffer, you wouldn't just on your own looking at it, you'd be like, well, those don't go together. They don't have anything to go with it. But when you dig a little deeper, and you can see these things are connected by something I can't readily see, which is spiritual, which is spirit. So what can we do individually in our lives that's going to make that connection? I'm going to tell the story about my mother. My mother grew up in very rural Georgia, and there was nothing there, chickens and cows, and she used to say, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna get out of here. And then when you talk like that, a lot of the sentiment was, well, what makes you think you can leave? What makes you think, what makes you think you're different from, we were all born here, we'll die here. But she kept it in her mind, she did not want to stay here. And so when she graduated from high school, my grandparents didn't have anything to help her go to college or anything. So she started doing hair. For the ladies who were in the field during the week, they would come in and get their hair done. Now, they were only charging 50 cents. And those of you who get your hair done now, you're like, 50 cents? Where you get those prices from? I would kill to pay 50 cents. So they would come in and pay her 50 cents, and she would keep a quarter, and then she would spend a quarter on whatever she needed to spend it on. So the first time she's telling me this story, I'm a business major from the University of Georgia, so I'm always running numbers in my head. And I said, you were going to go to college on a quarter? And so she was like, yeah. I was like, Mama, even back then, those numbers don't work. She said, well, I knew I was going to college. So she would go in every day and do the hair and with this intention. And, Wayne Dyer talks a lot about intention, about how that's the force in the universe that binds us together. And if you go forth with intention, you can create anything. You can create anything just through intention. And so one day this lady comes into the shop. And let me say this before I say that. When you move with intention and know who and whose you are, you move different. You sound different. You receive different. Thoreau, and now I've got it right. Henry David Thoreau writes about if you move confidently in the direction of your dreams, your life will advance very quickly. Old rules won't apply to you, or they'll be modified and expanded. Once you know within yourself who and whose you are, and she knew she was going to college, and she knew she was not going to stay down there and listen to those chickens make all that noise all night. She hated it. So one day this lady comes into the salon. Her name's Miss Robinson. And Miss Robinson notices my mother sitting over there doing hair because there was just something about her that was different. Miss Robinson noticed her. So when Miss Robinson was done with her hair, they were done with her hair, she goes to my mother and she asked her name. Well, tell me your name. My mother tells her. She said, what is it that you want? She said, I'm going to college. And she told Miss Robinson that same story she told me. And I think Miss Robinson was like, okay. And so she says, take me to your parents' home. And my mother said, oh, okay. So she told Miss Robinson where my grandparents live. Miss Robinson went to the house to talk with my grandparents. And so Miss Robinson made a decision. She said, I'm decided I'm going to send her to college. Just send her to college. But that was that knowing who and who she was. She didn't, a lot of times we spend so much time working out the details. Well, if I do this, then God will do that. And I better not do this. We're often told that's not our business. That's not our business. We're just supposed to hold that thought, hold that higher thought, and wait for the results to come forth. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to do, and I get into it too. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But she held that position, and she went to college. Miss Robinson sent her to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to Stillman College, and she finished. And then from there, like I said, one limitation creates a horizon that leads to others. From there, she ended up in a part in South Georgia where she taught, and people noticed her, and that's in that little town where she met my father. And then they got married, and then they got to Atlanta, and she went on to become she actually got a master's, ended up getting her master's from Georgia State University, from a place where people were telling her, you're not getting out of here. And she became the lead second grade teacher for Atlanta Public Schools for 30 years. So one idea can take you the whole way, but you have to be open. You have to be open. Now, she was very verbal about people not telling her what she wouldn't do. And you can do that. You know, sometimes you do have to have some I know I'm real good about just walking off from people and go, mm-hmm. You know, that works for me. But sometimes, I'm not going to tell you, man, how to manage your situation. Sometimes you may, look at here now. You're not going to tell me how and why and when. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then I once had a guy tell me, he said, I've watched you, people say all kind of stuff to you, and he said, you just go, mm-hmm, and you walk away. That works for me, because I subscribe to what Deepak Chopra said. You're not going to take my energy fighting. Deepak Chopra says we spend 95% of our energy fighting for ideas that are ours. You know how crazy that sounds, to fight you about my idea? We agree to disagree. And you go on your way. You go on your way. So of course, me looking at her, this is a real good example. You know, we say Jesus is the way shower, but there are many of you sitting right here, right now. You're way showers. People are looking at you. They know that diagnosis you got, that job performance you got. They know these things. A lot of times it's your children. They're looking at you as an example of what they can do through watching you. What they can do through watching you. People are watching you. They are. And I'm not saying that you could be afraid, knowing that should empower you to be the example. Especially in unity, the teachings are right here. And some of the other teachings that I've been a part of, you got to go look for the truth and be a part of it, as opposed to somebody standing over you saying they're the way, the truth, and the life. And then where's your power? Where's our power? What can we do about that? So knowing that truth for yourself, so that you can create from the invisible to the visible, creating things, and people going, oh my goodness, how are they doing that? Remember how the Pharisees treated Jesus? Because they were like, how is he doing all that? Who gave him the authority to forgive himself? Oh, my goodness. We got to get him out of here. And we don't need him moving to another place. We got to get him out of here for good. But Jesus knew all power, all authority comes from the inside first. Power is what is shown on the outside. The power is the result of the authority. If there's no authority, what you could create is going to be weak. It's not going to be everlasting. It's not going to be there for you to continually depend upon. But once you know your power from the inside, and that's when you stop fighting with people and going back and forth with them. And that's okay. It's a process. You have to get there too. You know, just fight quietly and quickly. You know, but if you must do that, And so in my time as a minister, that was something I know people would spend so much time fighting, and it would exhaust them. And so then whatever else was going on, such as a medical diagnosis or a foreclosure or whatever, then there was so little energy to focus on that. Because I'm so busy trying to convince people I'm good enough to make this go back to the nothingness from which it comes. Do yourself a favor. Just start working on sending it back. And because, what was it, Doubting Thomas? I wanted to put my hand in this side. A lot of them, they don't believe it till they see it, but it should be reversed. You'll see it when you believe it. You'll see it when you believe the truth for yourself. I thought I was about to ask y'all any questions. I had to ask that. Okay. So looking at the story of my mother, looking at all of you have stories right here that you can share with yourself first, empower yourself. Going back to Ralph Waldo Emerson and the story of the circles, he talks about how a limitation it was never meant to stay in place. It was meant to have a circle drawn around it, and it was meant to be redrawn, expanded. It was supposed to become something else. But when you believe the lie that you are defined by that. Well, how many times I've heard people say, I was born on the wrong side of the track. What does that mean? I mean, on both sides of the track, guys. So how did you get on the wrong side? And if you do perceive that as the wrong, then get on the right side. My father was so funny. He says, I don't understand people who don't like themselves. Then change it. He said, whatever you don't, he said, if you dumb, get smart. You know, if you sleepy, get some rest. He said, if you bigger than you want to be, get smaller than you want to be. He said, you can do whatever you want. And he said, but to sit and think about somebody else's life and wish it were yours, he said, where do they think they're going with that? I said, no, you are so right. You just preached the whole sermon. You really, really did. And I thank you for that. But going back to the idea of the circles that Emerson talked about, and Heraclitus, all of it goes back to the same thing of what are we creating? What are we envisioning? What do we need to change about the way we're looking at things? What do we need to change within ourselves? Because all change begins with us. And here in these teachings, we want to be identified as change agents. We don't want to continue to go around being a part of the problem. We want to be a part of how the problem stops being the problem. And so being in touch with people, I know I spend a lot of time around biblical scholars because I've done a lot of biblical scholars training. One of the things is they're so in their heads, they don't understand people's problems. They really don't. And it becomes, it's irritating talking to them. Then I purposely go to a little Baptist Sunday school on Sunday mornings. I didn't go this morning, and sometimes they make my head hurt because they got so much dogma. But I go to these things because I want to stay in touch with what's happening. I don't ever want to get so far removed from anything that when I hear it, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I want to have some awareness because in my role as pastor, I had to be able to say something that was going to connect. I didn't have the luxury of spousing off it was a small church, and they'll tell you when they don't like you, and they'll call a board meeting in a minute. So I didn't have the luxury of spouting off things and then just saying, go and sin no more. They'd be like, what? They would have gotten on the phone and burned me at the stake. So I had to understand things. I had to understand where people were going and what they were dealing with. So what Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about, the circles, a connection I came up with is this. Draw circles around everything. Draw circles around your life, your ideas, your family, your loved ones, your employer, even the ones you don't like. Start liking them. Pretend like you like them a little bit. Maybe they might feel the energy and shift. That's worked for me too. They might work and shift. As a matter of fact, when I was last on this stage, I had just started a new job as a regional supervisor for a military contractor over 11 states and 20 counselors. And I was like, oh, my God. There were 13 of us. Here, 3 years later, I am the only original supervisor left. They're all gone. And I got seniority, and I'm teaching folks. But there was a period that I had to dig deep because it's very easy to say, I don't need this. Life is too short, and that may be what you need to do. But I knew this was a lesson for me. I needed to trust Spirit to show me how to move through this because it was not beyond me. I just had to be open for God to show me how to do it. And so I get phone calls from someone. They say, you still there? I said, yeah, I'm still here. And they go, how? I said, they wouldn't understand the answer. I just kept going. I think they said Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. But be okay to sit down, too. Sit down and take a breath, take a rest. You don't just have to keep going. But just going back to the Ralph Waldo Emerson, where I got a little bit more time. Yeah, a little bit more time. So what we're going to do is you're going to draw circles around everybody. Like when you go to your family reunion, when you go to church service, just draw circles. Just draw a circle around everybody. And if somebody looks like they're in a tight circle, just draw a bigger circle for them. Just go around just drawing circles. Do it all day. And so I promise you, somebody's going to come up to you, and they're going to say, what are you doing? You look crazy. What are you doing? And you look at them and you say, I'm saving the world. You're next. And then draw the biggest circle around yourself And when your circle gets too small, draw a bigger circle and draw it in big, bold colors. Do it around and teach them, because while they're saying, you look crazy, you're going to say, yeah, I probably do. But I want you to see yourself bigger, see yourself brighter. Anytime you invite someone to see themselves more, they typically want to be a part of that. Now, they may be afraid initially, but if you ever run into somebody and you say, I want more for you, I want you to be empowered, I want you to be beautiful, I want you to be strong, and they say no, run. Because that's scary. Like Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Now, you can leave a door open if ever they're willing to change. You can step back in here. But otherwise, I'm gonna love you from a distance. I'm going to love you from a distance because you're not ready for what I'm offering you. You're not ready for your greatness. You're not ready for what all the world has to offer you, because we've each come here with something to do. When we are not willing to be open and get the lesson and the learning and let God teach us, guess who does not benefit? The world. Because then you don't do what you came here to do. And we all suffer. Now, there are some theories that if you won't do it, somebody else will do it, and that probably is true, but nobody can do it the way you were intended to do it. No one does it, bring to that what you were to bring to it. So I want you to step into your greatness. Be that example at the grocery store, wherever you are. And I'm not saying you got to go somewhere with your full makeup and your hair done all the time, but the inside, the idea, if you see someone that doesn't look good, it's nothing wrong with saying, good morning, are you okay? I'm praying for you. You got to be careful with that one. That's a dangerous one now. Don't do that. When people get mad, you get slapped with that one. So, but say, I'm the highest and best. Find something that you can encourage people with and encourage yourself first. Get you a partner, somebody, a little buddy partner that you all come together, and maybe you don't have to do these long prayers, but just you edify one another, you affirm one another, and keep drawing those circles. I hope I blessed you this morning in some way. Namaste. Thank you.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. And all my family's here. I'm literally, all my family's here. I'm so happy. It brought me to tears. I'm so happy. So this is another opportunity for you to sing along with me. Y'all ready for this? Okay, good. So words are really simple. Many of you know this song. It's just called The Universe is Calling. It goes, the universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Simple, right? You want to practice? Okay. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Very good. They got this. Did I get the right key? I'm so happy about that. I know. All right. Here we go. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. You ready? Calling, yeah, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Okay, check this out. The universe is calling me to love beyond my boundaries. The universe is calling me to be. It's calling me to listen more, talk less, and hold the light. The universe is calling me to be. Here we go. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Yeah, yeah. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Okay. The universe is calling me to sing into the heavens. The universe is calling me to sing. Yeah, to sing like I have never sung in all my given lifetimes. The universe is calling me to sing. All right. The universe is calling. The universe is calling me to be. Yeah, yeah. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Now echo me. Calling me.
Calling me.
Calling me.
Calling me.
Calling me. Calling me. Give us some love now. Give it up for Steve, y'all. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Yeah, 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 yeah. The universe is calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Well, the universe is calling, it's calling, it's calling. The universe is calling me to be. Yeah, 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 yeah. The universe is calling, calling, calling. The universe is calling me to be. Ba-ba-da-boom, boom-ba-dum, boom, ba-ba-da-boom, boom, ba-dum-da-da-da-da-ba-ba-da-boom, boom-ba-dum, boom, ba-ba-da-boom, boom, ba-dum-do-do-do-do-do-boom, do-do-do-do-do-do-ba-doo, ba-ba-da-boom, boom-ba-dum, boom, ba-ba-da-boom, boom-ba-dum, boom, boom. Steve Ragazzi. Steve Ragazzi. Thank you so much. Thank you. When your grandkids stand up, that's saying something.
Woo, that was great. Thank you guys. Thank you, Bukeka, Joe, Steve, Todd, for the beautiful music today. Appreciate you guys. And thank you, Reverend Sanja, for the history lesson and the invitation to bless and to expand our circles. Thank you. A few announcements today. Registration is opening for Adventures in Spirituality, an 8-week journey with Mary O'Malley's book, What's in the Way is the Way. I'm excited about that personally because it ties in with some Stoic philosophy I've been reading, which is the obstacle is the way, and there's an interesting tie in there. Reverend Erin has some details to share with us about this series.
Good morning, Unity Village Chapel. If you are here, it is a divine appointment. I want to let you know that we are in the midst of our Summer Soul series, and after that, we will be jumping into Adventures in Spirituality. This year, we have a fantastic book by Mary O'Malley. It's called What's in the Way is the Way. Breathe that in, try that on, and consider giving yourself the gift for this fall series, all of September and October, giving yourself the gift of signing up with a small group to take your practice deeply, to bring it forward, to call it forth. It is a different experience reading a book by yourself. It is a different experience processing something by yourself or in a therapy appointment. It is a whole other experience to do that with a group of other beloveds that are on the path of awakening, that share their vulnerability, their authenticity, and their story. So together, collectively, we love, we heal, we reveal. So think about signing up for a small group. We have a lot of times for you to choose from. And for those of you that might be doing some fall traveling that you don't think you can make most of the sessions, you can join us for the deep dive after service every Sunday. You can do that either here in person at Unity Village Chapel, or you can do that online. So definitely reserve the next couple of months for yourself for the fall series. And think about who you might partner with in your life, in your family, in your world, to say, hey, you want to grab this book and go on this adventure with me? Because these are interesting times. So let's look at what our purpose is here during these interesting times and how we can step into our spiritual purpose and our divine love and our sacred power. I hope to see you in the groups and in the series. We'll be doing the sermons on all the chapters. So every week, you'll get to see a different sermon on the topics, and we'll have a special Sunday with the Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. Blessings.
All right, the next thing is join Reverend Sanja, 6 p.m. tomorrow in the UVC community space for her workshop, Rooting, Renewing, Connecting, a 90-minute chair mat yoga experience for body, mind, and spirit in 5 parts. Please tell us a little about that, Reverend Sanja.
Hello again. Please join us. We were given the title. We are going to do it in 5 parts. It'll be with breath, reflection. We will have some dialogue. We're not going to hold plank or anything like that. You'll enjoy it. It'll be nice. A lot of stretching, a lot of movement. We're going to have a nice long shavasana at the end where you may start snoring. And I have my sound bowl, so we'll do some sound bowl activity. We'll have music. So don't worry about being sore the next day. It's going to be a really good experience. So if you have time, please come join. Thank you.
Did somebody ask where it was? It's in the community center, which is across the opposite side of the tower, across the courtyard. 400 building, yeah? Yeah. 2nd floor, okay. Nextly, on Sunday, August 30th, immediately following service, UVC is hosting a cookout and celebration of Reverend Erin's return from sabbatical and 15 years with the village. So yeah, definitely plan to be here on the 30th for potluck and cookout. Or actually, excuse me, just cookout. There'll be live music on the Fillmore Chapel lawn, games and activities for kids. The Men of Unity will be firing up the grill, and Sisters of Myrtle will be providing side dishes. And the next summer movie meetup is the documentary No Country for Mothers on Friday, August 21st. Showtime is 6:45 in the Fillmore Chapel, and there will be a Q&A following the movie. So we invite you to join us for that. Full details and registration for all events mentioned are available on our website, the app, and in the weekly e-newsletter. Do we have a prayer chaplain today? No, okay. Online deep dive begins right after service, hosted virtually on Zoom, and you can find the Zoom link on the virtual sanctuary tab at unityvillagechapel.org. In-person deep dive will not be meeting today, so members can attend the memorial for Linda Ray Chapel's beloved, Sage Sinbush, following service. And we now move into the practice of generosity. We give not because it's transactional, but because generosity is a spiritual act. Giving keeps the current of life moving. As we give, we participate in creating life, in sustaining this spiritual home, and in practicing love together. Let's affirm together. Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. As you leave, physical offerings may be placed in the baskets, and e-giving is available at the welcome table, which is actually not set up today, but normally. If you are visiting today and have a heart for supporting our Sunday service at Unity Village, you're invited to join Five to Thrive with an ongoing gift of $5 weekly or monthly. And remember, you can always stay connected through our live stream. At the welcome table, you can pick up a daily word, purchase music CDs, and if you love thought-provoking films, documentaries, and meaningful stories, there's a sign-up sheet to be added to our movie meetup list. You'll receive occasional text or emails when there are group movie outings, conscious film selections, or pop-up movie nights. And now let's give our musicians one more round of appreciation as we stand and sing the peace song and recite the prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be my joyous vow. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.